We back with Everyday People and My Celebrities. And I'm Coach B. It's late, the lights are low, and the mind is open. And before we dive into the mix, let this message guide your night. We've been taught to question everything. But what if the solution? What if the real answer was just to surrender? Let go of the noise. Just follow clear, tested direction. No guessing, no debate. UMYO is that movement, the formula, the exit. You don't have to think your way out. You can just follow your way forward. Visit UMYO Network and register now.
Here's the thing, man. I grew up, man. My mom was a crackhead, man. I found out my mom smoked crack. I was 13 years old. I'm a basketball player. I'm a basketball star, bro. I'm an athlete. I grew up in a small town where everybody know everybody. Everybody know everybody business. Ain't nobody sneaking and doing nothing. Everybody know everybody. You know, so when you're faced with adversity and faced with things, it goes back to rap, to music. You know, in my era, man, we had guys, you know, like Cool Mo D, Heavy D. These guys rapped about love.
Yes, sir.
See, these guys rapped about love. MC Hammer, guys dancing, you know. So what they did, they allowed gangster rap to influence our community.
Yes.
So what happened was guys that were talking about love, talking to, you know, LL Cool J and Cool Mo D, they beef rapped their whole career. But it never got violent. It never led to violence. It never really led to disrespect. So when they allowed gangster rap in our community to control our community, that's where the shift began. See, that's where the shift began then, because now it's cool to carry guns. Now it's cool to kill your brother, somebody that looks like you.
Yeah.
Now it's a cool thing that's being led by people that don't even live in our community. So once gangster rap ran its course, because if you look now, gangster rap doesn't really have any control of the music stream like it did, let's say 10 years ago.
Yes.
Because you know why? Because social media stepped in.
Yes.
So now let's find a way to make them act as stupidest as they can act. We'll pay them the same pennies on a dollar that we paid the artist to put venom in their communities. So you see, everybody that say they're getting monetized on social media, they're embarrassing themselves. For likes, for views.
And
you have women. You have women, our most precious gift.
Yes.
Our most precious gift that show their bodies to the world for pennies on a dollar. Where's the respect? Where's the respect in self? So we're gonna glorify sex the same way we did in the music. We're gonna post all the fights. There's sites. There are actual sites that you can go to and watch nothing but fights.
Yes, there is.
We're gonna glorify that. We're gonna glorify killing, and we're gonna monetize. See, what they have done, they've given us a small portion,
Yes.
and we're happy with that. We're happy with that. We're satisfied with that. The small portion, the amount of money that they make on us with this social media thing, and the amount of money that they're giving out to share all our business, share our life, the worst part of our lives. You know, it creates a fantasy. It creates a fantasy that most people, majority of the people, would never experience.
You're right.
Would never experience that life. But we're going to spend all our life chasing that life.
Chasing that life.
And in the meantime, we're going to destroy our community in return.
Mm-hmm.
We're the most powerful people in the world, man.
We are.
I think we're the most smartest people. I think we're the most hardest working people. I think we're the most compassionate people. I think we're the most loving people. I think, man, hands down.
We have everything. We have everything, and that's the sad thing. We have everything. We comprise of everything. And when it goes back to what you're speaking about, music, because people forget how powerful the frequency and vibrations of music is. Like when it penetrates, they feel like the lyrics don't matter. Everything matters. Even it goes down to the frequency of it matters, and what is going. Because when the scripture talks about being sober-minded, so you won't fall for the devices of the enemy. People think being sober-minded means what you put in your mouth, like drugs. That's wrong. It means about what you see, what you put through your eyes, what you put through your ears. So like when you the filth you put in there kind of affects you, and it kind of manifests itself in your lifestyle. So the music, how powerful it is. When you listen to music, you see it all the time. Like you see videos of when people are in the club or something and they play some of the most darkest gangster rap music. All of a sudden, within 30 seconds, a fight breaks out. These things are spiritual more than they are physical. But people tend to overlook that part because the spiritual part you cannot see. So there's a huge influence of music, and they're using it against us as a weapon.
Now, what I will say is, we're responsible as adults.
Absolutely.
It ain't the kids. It's not the kids. See, we're trying to blame something on the kids. That's our fault.
No, that's wrong.
See, as 40, 50, 60-year-old men, man, it's our fault our community is in this shape. Let's be truthful. Let's be honest. We're going to tell the truth.
Yep.
And we're going to be honest. As men, it's our fault that our community is the way it is. We stopped leading properly. See, we started stepping out on our wives. We started sleeping with other people's wives and things of that nature. See, we made it cool to fornicate. We made it cool to shack. Kids are visual. You can talk all you want to kids. But they're going to look at what you're doing.
Absolutely.
So the example that we put out there for them as men is why we're here now.
Yes, sir.
Because we stopped leading properly. See, we make it cool. Everything that they're doing, it was a point in time, we made it cool. Myself included. I'm no different. You know, I did a self-check on myself almost 2 years ago. Looked in the mirror. Man, I hated the man I saw in the mirror. I hated that guy. I was embarrassed by that guy. So I had to start holding myself accountable and my movement, my actions, and the things that I was doing.
Yes, sir.
That when it got dark, I thought nobody could see. See, when the lights on, when them lights on, you perform. But when it's dark, can't nobody. Who are you when nobody looking?
Yes, sir.
When nobody's looking, you think can't nobody see you? Who are you? See, one thing you was gonna do, you gonna go to church. Whether you wanted to. On Sunday, you probably gonna go to church twice. You're gonna go for the morning service and you're gonna go to the evening service.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna go to Bible study on Wednesday. And you're gonna go to choir rehearsal on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
So even if you don't know what you believe in at that time, you have your grandparents, because it was my grandparents for me, that I didn't want to disappoint, and a God that I didn't know who it was or what it was, but all I know is what they saying. Hey, I didn't want to do those things.
Yes, sir.
And it kept me on the right track. But it was introduced to me. See, we have the option of what we introduce to these kids.
Yes, sir.
And the things that we're allowing them to experience at a such early age is detrimental. They're our future.
Yes, sir.
You know, they're our future, man. They're our future presidents. They're our future doctors. They're our future lawyers. And in our communities, we only celebrate athletes.
Yeah.
We want every kid. We tell every kid the only way you can make it is through sports.
Which is a total lie.
We don't celebrate the kid. We don't celebrate the kid that's going to school, straight A student. They're a straight A student.
Going to be a doctor.
All through school, perfect attendance. They want to be a doctor. They want to be a lawyer. They want to be an engineer. They have goal outside of sports. We don't celebrate those kids. See, we don't even celebrate the kids that don't even get in no trouble.
Yeah.
All we talk about is kids that are doing bad.
Yeah.
We don't never talk about the kids that are doing right. We don't celebrate them. So if we put them in the forefront, because if you're glorifying me for what I do over here, because I was one of them athletes, I did the bare minimum in school. What I need a 2.0 to play. All I'm shooting for is the 2.0. I'm never shooting for the 4.0, the 3.5. I've never shot for that.
Because you had no incentive
4.0 to play. That's it. And I like the attention that I got. And it's the same thing. It's the same pattern.
Yes, sir.
So if we hold them to a standard, if we give them something to shoot for,
yes,
they will raise the bar for themselves as well.
Yes, sir.
Say, man, I learned how to dress. I started creasing my pants because every time I saw an older gentleman, man, he was clean. His jeans was always creased and his shoes was always wiped off. That's where I learned it from. By watching an older gentleman. And so, but now we have guys in their 30s and 40s
sagging their pants,
walking around with their boxers showing, and think it's cool.
Despicable.
As a grown man.
A grown man.
So what you think the youngster gonna do in that community? He's gonna do the same thing.
Absolutely.
So we have to be mindful of the things, experiences, and the things that we show them. If we show them and stop trying to tell them what to do, we're trying to tell them to do things that we're not doing.
You're not even doing ourselves.
We're not even doing ourselves, but we're trying to tell them to do it. And that goes to saying, that's that saying that goes, don't do as I do as I say. I'm grown. Well, you're the example.
An example.
You're the example. You're who I'm looking at. you go and watch it.
Human beings can
So
show
people
you
that are
more
doing
than what they
right,
could tell you. Yes, sir.
people that are doing right and living right, they have no problem with you doing. They want you to do some of the things that they're doing.
Yes.
It's only people that are not doing right that's gonna say that.
You're right.
So how do we pull that in? See, we have to get the adults just as well as the kids. And that's what made me want to create this show.
Okay.
I want to take some of the parents' voice away and some of their power away. So I want them to be held accountable.
Yes.
I want them to be held accountable for their kids' behavior. I want them to be held accountable because they're the ones that can make the biggest difference in their kids' life. And a lot of parents don't know how. There was a time I didn't know how to be a father, man. There was a time I thought that buying Jordans, buying diapers, or buying whatever they need from a financial standpoint, man, I was a good dad. In reality, I wasn't. But I was being the best father I knew how to be at the time.
Yeah.
Because I was a young father. So let's pull these young men in. And give them the guideline, the blueprint of being a father. Being a father at 40 and 50 is much different than being a father at 19, 20.
Mm-hmm.
Your view of it is different.
Yes, sir.
So the first thing, and it's going to be impossible. I ain't gonna say it's going to be impossible, but it's going to be a journey to do it. We have to start teaching abstinence. We have to make it cool to not be sexually active.
Yes, sir.
We have to make that be cool. We have to, but how do we do that when each time we open the app, we see a naked young lady? See, I didn't have that. So I don't know what that's like for a 16, 17-year-old kid. I have no idea what's that like for him. Every time that he open an app, he has an opportunity to see a young lady dressed in the skimpiest thing it is. And an older lady at that, they ain't got to be young.
Yeah.
So how do we put him in a mind frame, a mental mind frame, to where he's able to view that and not lust over that?
Yes, sir.
It's a lot of young men are not having talks about sex, about the different sexually transmitted diseases, about each woman. You have to realize each woman that you sleep with, or each man that you allow to enter into you, they're bringing the energy from the person that they slept with previous to you.
Yeah, I spoke about that in the Bible, 1 Corinthians chapter 6.
Yeah. So we have to start putting that type of message out.
Yes, sir.
To them. We're going to educate them. We have to educate them from a spiritual mind frame.
Yes, sir.
Regardless of who you worship, who your God is. what your religion is, that's on you. Whoever your higher power is, but it has to be some form of power that you believe in bigger than you. Because we're in a society where we feel like we can do what we want to do. We don't have to answer to nobody. When I was growing up, everybody on my street, everybody that was an adult, you didn't have to live on my street, had access to whoop my butt. If they saw me out of line. And then can take me home, I'm gonna get another one. But now we're in an era where you can't say anything to a kid. You know, you can be in the store and tell a young man put his pants up, his mama will cuss you out.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get out of that? How do we, can we enhance back then to now? How do we grow it? How do we make it to where kids value and have respect for themselves? Because it all starts with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can't respect anybody else if you don't respect yourself.
Yep.
So how do we teach them to value themselves? See the king in them, see the queen in them. So we have to give them a voice and allow them to speak so we can hear what they're dealing with. None of us know. I didn't come from the cell phone era. So I don't know what it's like having this kind of access to everything as a kid. Yeah. I don't know. As a kid. It's easy for me to say back in my day, but I don't know as a kid if I can make all the choices I made today that I made back then.
Exactly.
If I'm in this era, I may go a total different way.
No, exactly. It's true.
So I want to hear from them.
Yeah, you can even see it with some of my aunties that are here in America now. They came from Nigeria, and they came from Nigeria like in their 30s, 40s. You can see that every time I see them with the phones and with the stuff they be watching and how they use the phone, always want to be on TikTok and all this stuff. I kind of thank God they didn't grow up in this area. I tell them all the time, like, thank goodness we didn't have this. You didn't have this access to any of this back in your time, because this would have been really, really bad. And only God knows. Only God knows.
And you guys are saying,
hey man,
you guys are saying something, Brother Kenny, when you speak of how. The only thing that I can think of is, and I think I shared that with one of the other shows that we were on, and that is, as long as I've been living, there's never been a solution for us to follow, right? And we voted hundreds to thousands of people into politics every election. They come and knock on your door. They give us these lies on what it is that they're going to do. But yet we continue to fall in line and stand in line, voting for hope that will never come from a system that was created to do exactly what the system was created to do. The answer to this question as to how is UMYO, Unified Movement for Youth Opportunities. UMYO, Unmasking Your Opinions. The name of this podcast is Everyday People Are My Celebrities. That means that every day people have a voice, and they have been voiceless for too long. And now is the time to listen to those individuals so that we can not only allow them to be able to breathe Because anytime that you don't have a voice and that voice has been kept inside of you for decades after decades after decades, that child who comes from you also will not have a voice. Right? So, and when you spoke about the platforms and you go to these platforms, you've yet to see a platform where you're able to control the narrative. We have to come up with our own platforms so that we can not only control the narrative, but we can also create our own rules based upon the gated community that you're coming in. Gated communities are gated communities to keep the bad people out. Right? Those who are not supposed to be in there is to keep them out. Right? That's why we have UMYO. It's a gated community that comes with our own rules and regulations. And based upon those rules and regulations, not only are we problem solving, which is providing solutions, but we're also creating additional opportunities for them to learn. You mentioned something at the beginning when you spoke of, I don't have any fight. And I'm 53. I don't have any fight. And it's just ironic that we have Brother Kennedy, a UFC fighter that's on the line. My sons and I visited a billionaire, right? So I know. And she took us to the top of her rooftop, right? And she set my three sons across from me, and then she set me next to her. And she said something that was very powerful. She said, your father and myself, we have what you call wisdom. When I look at you guys across from us, you have the power. And she looked at her, you know when a person raises up their arm and they look at it like, this is my color. And she said, we were taught to separate the power from the wisdom, as she was pointing at me. She said, we were taught that at a very early age, right? And it's our responsibility to jump in there so that we can become the wisdom. Because now you're going to follow what we say at a very young age and be conditioned to do that. So now we are your lifesavers. We are the ones who's giving you the jobs. We are the ones who's creating everything, right? So you have to depend upon us. And when we see someone like your dad communicating with you guys, you're going to always find somebody like us who's always going to come close just to hear what it is that's being said. Because we don't want them to have the wisdom so that they can know how to use the power it is that they have. So as long as they have that power and they don't know how to use it, they're going to be using that power in all the wrong areas. So that's why we see youth the way that they're acting today, because you have to take, she said something that was very powerful. She said, I'm in these boardrooms where we're taught in these boardrooms. She said, you won't be able to come inside of these boardrooms. But to be able to share what she was sharing with my sons was just powerful. She said, we're not supposed to have your dad, males, the Nubian entity males inside of these boardrooms. Our objective is to make sure that we have women that are inside of these boardrooms. Why? Because when you give a woman a certain amount of power, right, what she's going to do with that power, because it wasn't meant for her to have the power that men are supposed to have, she's going to become addicted to it and not know how to use it in a mature manner, which continuously divides the male from the female. So when she goes home with that power, she's going to be using that power against the very king or the very male that was purpose in her life, which is going to cause another separation. So when we look at life and we look at everything it is that's happening right now, there is a separation between male and female. There's a division between the youth and the adults, right? I want to ask you, Brother Kenny, what? And we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, I want to ask you this question, which is the question is, because I think that your podcast is going to be absolutely amazing and necessary, because I see youth, I see adults, I see parents that's going to be taking these courses. And the name of your podcast is From Their Mouth to Their Heart. We'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk truth. I sit before you not as a politician, not as a pundit, not as someone trying to pick a side, but as someone deeply concerned about the state of our country and the direction we're heading. Because let's be honest, the world around us feels like it's spinning off its axis. You got red versus blue, left versus right, right versus wrong, and even that is up for debate these days. But beneath the surface of all the noise, the talking points, the outrage, and the algorithm, there's a deeper battle that's happening. It's not just red versus blue. It's noise versus wisdom, ego versus humility, blind loyalty versus true critical thinking. And in that battle, we're losing. Not because we don't have smart people, not because we don't have solutions, but because we've forgotten how to listen. We built a culture that rewards outrage, not insight, popularity, not purpose, clout, not clarity. And somewhere along the way, we've stopped listening to the people who are actually equipped to problem solve. Our engineers, our coders, the educators, the scientists, the community leaders, the quiet thinkers, the ones who spend more time understanding the issues than tweeting about it. These are the people with the gift to solve, and yet their voices are rarely heard. But why? Because they're not shouting? Because they're not playing the political game? Because they're not flashy or loud or willing to sell their soul for a soundbite? And meanwhile, those who do have platforms, the ones with millions of followers, media attention, influence, too many of them are more invested in the fight than the fix, dragging one side to score points for the other, weaponizing every issue, spinning every solution into a threat. Red attacks blue, blue attacks red, while the people, the actual people, are left stuck in the middle, frustrated, struggling, and forgotten. Pride comes before fall. And let me say it plainly. A divided country cannot and will not stand. So we say we want unity. We say we want progress. We say we want change. But the question is, are we truly open to hearing solutions? Truly open to listening to the people who think differently? To engage in ideas that don't fit into neat little partisan boxes? Or are we still addicted to the adrenaline of outrage, still stuck in the cycle of proving who's right instead of asking what's best? Because if anyone steps forward and says, I have an idea, I have a real tested practical solution to this problem, shouldn't our first response be, let's hear them out? Not what party are they from, not what's their angle, not do they agree with me on everything. We need to grow past that, and fast, because lives are our stakes, because communities are crumbling, because apathy is spreading, and because the clock is ticking. It's a new time, and it's time for something new, a new mindset, a new movement, one that isn't about being left or right, but about being right-minded. Let's stop chasing personalities and start chasing principles. Let's stop demanding loyalty and start demanding results. Let's stop amplifying chaos and start amplifying solutions. If we really care about the future of this country, we cannot keep silencing the very people who might just be able to help it. We must elevate the solvers. We must rebuild the bridge between platforms and problem solvers. And we must do it now. Not next year, not after the next election. Now. This country was never built by people who just picked sides. It was built by people who stood in the middle, who saw both sides, and carved a new way forward. Let us be those people. Let the problems and let the solvers speak. Let the nation rise.
Attention universities, HBCU, and educational institutions. Now is the perfect time to revolutionize the way we educate, inspire, and empower our students. We've partnered with professional athletes who are stepping off the field and into the classroom, not just to motivate, but to mentor. They're guiding students step by step, sharing real experiences from the world of sports and business, including the lessons learned from the paths they wish they never took. This isn't a theory. This is action. Students are gaining real-world experience by actively marketing a powerful new platform in their field of study, collaborating with sports teams, industry leaders, students, coaches, agencies, businesses, while still in school. And it doesn't stop there. We've created unlimited digital hubs where students in digital marketing, sports and entertainment, media, and business can start working right now. Each academic program involved shares in the earnings alongside their schools. It's more than just experience. It's a sustainable model for fundraising and growth. And when students start getting paid for their efforts, the buzz becomes unstoppable. We're building a movement, one that connects professional experience, digital innovation, and academic success, all in one place. This is the future. We're just doing it in the present. Join the movement. Empower your students today.